Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. I am Dr. Kalwayanita, Assistant Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communications, Usmania University. In today's class, we are going to discuss about television news and news bulletin. So, what is television news? We see a lot of writing is done in the television news when compared with the other programmings. So, television news is packed attractively through audiovisual support and presented by live by the anchor in the studio. So, when the anchor presenting the content, she will lead the story to the main content that is going to follow up. So, the anchor conveys the mood, tone and message. So, we still remember some of the anchors, we talk about them, we take them as an inspiration. So, anchoring profession is well associated with the reason because they represent the management, they represent the channel. So, they become the face of the organization. So, anchoring is a very important element, and how do they carry the story matters for the audience because they are the ones who are taking the channel to the people through them. So, the conversational style of anchoring is very creative and special bond. It creates a bond between the anchor and the audience. We wanted certain anchors to be seen on screen. So, how do they present and how they connect their studio with the reporters who are on the field also is another important thing. Like connecting the reporter with the anchor, they are trying to bring a bond between the audience and the channels. So, television news is like a dialogue with viewers and creating a personal connection with them also by giving the incident. Now, the anchor explains a developing story, sometimes like live visuals, reporters sitting in the scene and then trying to interview experts. Like this, various types of television news productions are there where we try to understand how they have to be handled in a news channel. In the process of news presentation, who comes first is the reporter. The role of a reporter in news is very crucial. The reason is because they gather the facts and information along with their photographers. Sometimes reporters only become the photographers also. The reason is because these days in media there is a huge demand for multitasking. So, the reporters sometimes can also become a camera persons as well. So, they take the visuals, they direct the camera persons if they have how the story have to go effectively. So, for this purpose what the reporters do is they interview the people who are on the spot and they try to dig on more information to get more facts related with this. That is where their uniqueness comes and stands, and you have breaking news, exclusive stories because of the extra efforts the reporters try to put in, and they tape record everything and then they edit the content that they take and then they write the news stories how exactly it has to be presented. So, in television reporting, journalists must answer 5 questions, that is who, what, where, when and why. This we call in a media language as 5 W's and 1 H. H is something associated with how the incident happened. You take any story, it definitely has some of the 5 W's and then how this happened if the information is provided. Sometimes they may be missing but not all. There will be something which is available. Very important for television news, and if how and why are not explained, the audience feel that complete story is not given. So, the reporter has to keep these things in mind. While gathering the news, the reporter has to do lot of things and keep lot of things in mind. The reason is because instant reply and production techniques allow audiences to see visual multiple times. Now, what happens is there will be an anchor in the studio and she will connect to you with the reporter on field, and they repeatedly play the visuals and try to tell the content again and again in a different styles and ways. That makes the audience get the information. Even if there is somebody who missed the content also, they get an opportunity to get it again. The reporter on the field sums up the news story. Though we have a visual, sometimes reporters do try to explain a lot. You must be watching all of them. They tell you can look here, you can see this is what happening, this is what they are telling. Like that, they try to give you more linkage between the reporters in the commentary and the visuals coming on the screen is very crucial. So, field reporting is a talent. It is an inbuilt talent and it is very required in news because you are connecting to audience directly with this field reporting, and the editing and packaging after reaching reaching the studio also can be done. For certain stories, you collect the information, come to the studio, sit there, write the story, edit the story, and then give it to the anchor, and then she'll present and play the story. But certain things are done live. So we'll discuss all this in this class. Reported live with linkage to the anchor and important development. So like this, news is gathered both the ways. One is with studio help, the other one is coming to the live reporting also. Now, how can an effective field reporting done? Because that is very, very important. Reporting involves putting things in perspective. Reporters vary speaking pace and articulate reports to reflect the mood of the story. So, the main person who is carrying the content is a reporter. So, he has to be well read, understood the situation, and he should know what kind of a people to get in to talk to people. Okay. Broadcast reports must be quick and capturing. You should quickly move to the next one instead of just lagging at the same thing, and capture whatever footage is available at the spot. Gather as much as visuals as possible, because everything would be interesting. If it is a major accident, if there is a major breaking news, people would like to know more and more about it. That curiosity you should be able to maintain by adding elements of drama, like talking to the witnesses over there and consulting some expert and trying to get understanding from a various levels. Capturing fine details on TV can capture, and beat reporters. Beat reporters are the people who are there on the spot and trying to capture the content. Packaging stories interestingly with proper planning. Packaging stories nothing but, as we just now discussed, like voiceover, sound bites. Having all this together with anchor presentation is a packaging. So, right input strength television news coverage is very, very effective, and if you present well, people will remember you for the presentations you have done. So, when we talk about news presentation, bulletin is package of stories balancing heavy and light news. We see all types of stories like political, sports, economy, human interesting. So, the news editor decides the order in which the channel based on the channel's philosophy and priority. Now, certain stories will be very interesting and very priority for the channels because of the kind of an ideology they follow. So, you have a 30 minutes bulletin, then the duration of the bulletin is 30 minutes, but each story may be decided for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If it is really very good story, one day with excess news and with less prominent stories, at the end of the carry over the next bulletin. So, if you have too many stories in one bulletin, you carry it to the next story. So, like that you have to adjust the stories according to the priority. Timing stories becomes with experience, and also sound bites and scripts giving a rough estimation. So, max to max 2 minute story, you wanted to tell everything. How well you write it depends upon you. News flow is unpredictable. Last minute changes are always possible. We can't even imagine how it will be when you are in a newsroom when the live is going on and the bulletin is happening. There may be sudden entries into the story, and that story has to go to the anchor immediately, and there has to be visuals presented. So, replacing some content, additions to it, deletions to it, all this is possible in a newsroom, and we don't know how that 30 minutes goes on. So, you should have a live experience sitting in a newsroom. You understand how tension oriented and how challenging it is when you are handling it. So, studio production, this is something which you do in a free time, like when you have availability of a studio, you have availability of panel experts, you call them, you motivate them, you tell them what is to be spoken, take the expert opinions. Regular programs are conducted which are recorded most of the time. So, you can stop in between and re-record. Unlike the news bulletin, sometimes it goes live, then it is definitely a challenging, but studio production mostly it will be recorded. Studios has multiple cameras from capturing from all the directions, and you have a lot of lighting and backup for the regular news and sudden developments. So, it is where all the news activities coverage and produce the final news production. And studio production is one type of production, whereas present day production is considered as electronic news gathering, where you have a support of electronic media like video and camera. Traditionally, reporters and camera work together, but now portable equipment allow reporters also to act as camera persons, which, as we discussed earlier, news coverage usually happens on the spot as event unfolds, leaving little or no more time for pre-production. So, immediately as the story happens, sometimes they telecast. So, that way also they have to make arrangements, and sometimes they may also use a typical satellite news gathering mechanism, where directly from earth stations they give. They have a proper OB vans and camera setups, everything. And here something very important to know is P2C, piece to camera. This most of the time for major stories we see a reporter standing there and talking, and this is so and so reporting from so and so place. So, that's called P2C. So, directly from the location they talk to. Breaking news has become a common in this satellite news technology, and this is very common that we see every day. And the most and important thing that we go every day is a live coverage, and it's very challenging. Live coverages need a lot of real time experience, and especially during breaking and spot news. And if it is a big celebrities, big news, then you have a lot of tension, and famous personalities or train accidents, all these are most of the time given in the live reporting in the studios. So, you have outdoor OB vans essentially for this to give a live coverage, and production control room with all equipment that are required. And the reporters must be having a proper presence of mind and confidence to gather the information and present it accurately, and they should have an understanding whom to interview. And talking to the witnesses, they may be not in a condition to talk, you must be able to make them talk and take the opinions of bypasses and all that you need to do, and try to give the story from all the angles possible. So, it's a very challenging profession. Writing for news is a challenging profession. Making news is challenging. Thinking of news is very, very creative, and when you start writing only you will be able to do that. So, keeping all these points, I hope you must have understood how television news packaging is done and how reporting for television is done. Especially have to practice with 5 W's and H, which are crucial in news gathering and also presenting, and structuring a news bulletin with anchor, voiceover and conclusion with something called like P2C is very, very important. The different kind of productions, some of them are live, some of them are studio productions, and latest technology of electronic news gathering and satellite news gathering are very, very important, and making the television more closer to the audience these days. With this, I conclude. Thank you.